boy, MrBeast is about to launch 2 new billion-dollar brands after some of his court filings leaked. And of course the question is, will he compete with Logan Paul and KSI and launch Beast Hydration for the first time during his Beast Games TV show after closing a $100 million deal with Amazon Prime? Or will they lose the deal just like they lost a yacht and millions of dollars after someone in Jimmy's team did this?
It's irresponsible substance use, and it wasn't an addiction. It was irresponsible substance use that cost the boat.
And ended up costing the company hundreds of thousands of dollars. Millions. Woo! And that was hidden from Jimmy.
Yep, yeah, the reason we lost that was definitely hidden from Jimmy.
Alright, let's find out. So 2 new brands from MrBeast. Probably next year, but I could see it happening this year as well, as I mentioned during their launch of the Amazon TV series. One would be a beverage brand, probably somewhere along the lines of Beast Hydration, and a mobile game, which is very obvious to me with his young audience. But at the same time, I do expect him to take some time, because last time he launched one of his brands, of course he had a legal battle, if you didn't know, against virtual dining concepts for his brand MrBeast Burger. Now why did that happen? Because he felt that they harmed his personal brand by sacrificing the order quality. There was quite a significant issue with the burgers themselves, and sometimes raw meat, etc., those kind of things, which you could see happening when you launch too quick and expand too quickly. And this court document also revealed that he expects to bring in $700 million in revenue this year. And last year, as you can see, he did $223 million roughly, which is a big increase. And how big will this beverage brand, probably energy drink brand, be? Well, just look at Logan Paul and KSI's brand called Prime. Of course, I think you know it. And it has more than 1.2 billion in annual sales last year. I'm really curious to see how big it is this year in revenue after, of course, this year has ended. But now that Jimmy is the biggest YouTube creator with almost 280 million subscribers, there is a big chance he will surpass Logan Paul and KSI. And I think we will start to see some heated competition between the two and making content around it, which would be very clever, especially from MrBeast's side. But of course, this move from him to launch multiple brands, more companies, makes a lot of sense. He mentioned recently in podcasts as well that the sponsoring money, there's just very few brands that can pay him enough money for it to be worth it to be in his videos. And of course, when he has his own companies, he can earn a lot more from it, therefore make it even more feasible to ramp up even more videos and better videos and increase the budgets for each video, because his current videos take around 3.5 million each to produce. And of course, he wants to get better and bigger and more as you know him. And to make it worth it, he will launch his new brands so that he can earn a lot more from it. So what about the other brand, the mobile game app, which makes a lot of sense again for this young, majority of its audience is young. And of course it will be monetized with a very usual kind of monetization, which is an in-app purchases and of course ads within the app. What I found interesting is that he recently, only like 2 weeks ago, ended his exclusive before relationship with Night, which is an agency who manage, well, very big creators. They will still continue to work together, but it's interesting of why he did this, because they split it up is mainly because of he wants to increasingly take personal control in his business. And what I think has happened is that he just bought back shares from them. I think they got shares, and I think he wants to prevent previous mistakes and have more control. And as you can see, Feastable also had problems within the company. I don't think as much as the burger lawsuit, but I think he got talks with some advisors, maybe even influencers like Hormozi, and then got the advice to take more equity into his own companies, which makes sense after you read this as well. Like also 2 weeks ago, one day after the split up, it seems like he hired someone from a VC company who will lead his company, and I think the holding company and all the companies below it. And as you can see, which I think is a clever move. Now why is that? Because of course you yourself, Jimmy himself, is much more incentivized to of course deliver a great product, whereas a company like Night is less incentivized to do so. For example, Jimmy of course would be okay with making less profit, but of course thinking more about the long term and reformulate, in this case, his Feastable recipe, invest into that, take a temporary loss or investment for a better product because of his reputation. And instead of working with a company like Night, he will now of course hire his internal team, like this one House and Bolt guy from the VC firm. And if you didn't know yet, of course he has partnered up with Amazon, which I think is a very clever and big deal for both sides. And it's interesting how free flowing this thing goes in his company, especially after showing you this interview or a clip of it. I'll link it later so you can watch it after this video. But this ex-employee really shared the insights of this company of Jimmy. And it seems like they need to get just a little bit more professional and probably more efficient. And it will be a very big show with of course, Jimmy is known for his big prizes, which I think is a very interesting way of getting a lot more attention. And this series will include his biggest prize ever of $5 million. He talked everything about it in this podcast. I think you have seen it already. If you don't, of course you can watch it after this. And they will start filming. Well, they maybe have started filming by now, or they will start within a few months. And I'm not sure about the negotiating with Amazon, but it could be that he will be launching one or multiple of his brands during the TV show. Well, I'm not sure if Amazon allowed that. And that's it. If you're interested in this interview, I'll link it below. It's not an educational video, but it's, if you like entertainment and like to know more about the insights behind MrBeast, his team and company, then you can watch it. And if you create content on Instagram or other short form platforms, you may want to check this free checklist below, including an editor overlay that you can use yourself or send to your editor to not have any important parts outside of this grid. And besides that, if you're serious about creating content, you can join this free WhatsApp group, where I will also share a automated YouTube analytics dashboard in Google Sheets for free when it is ready. I will include the link below this video. See you next time.